Hi, it's Richard here from the Evohome Today we're going to give you a very quick overview of the HR91 Radiator Controller. So we get a lot of questions come in about the HR91. So first of all, it's the latest controller that Resideo have launched under the Honeywell Home brand. So the HR92 was launched back in 2014. This was launched a couple of years ago in 2018. So the differences between the HR92 and the HR91 is that HR92 has a display screen, where the HR91 just has an LED display at the top with two small override buttons. The right hand side button is like your status button, and the left hand button is your override button. Okay, so if you were to press the right hand button like so, it tells you the status of the TRV. So a green flashing light indicates that this TRV has been bound to the Evohome controller, and at the same time, once you press it, the Evohome controller will show you which demand has come from which zone. So if you press the button once, the actual relevant zone which the HR91 is contained within will come up on the screen as well. Okay, so on the second side, we've got our override. Okay, so if you press the override once, you'll see an orange flashing light, and you'll see on your zone demand on the Evohome controller that the zone demand goes to 5 degrees Celsius. If we then press the HR92 override button again, you'll see a green flashing light, and the green flashing light puts it to its upper override limit, which you'll see on the Evohome controller says 21 degrees Celsius. Okay, so another thing we get asked a lot about with the HR91s is, how do I know it's actually operating? Okay, and it's quite easy to know. So what we have on the Evohome controller is called a system summary menu. Okay, so if I just show you going into the system summary menu, on the Evohome controller, if we press and hold the settings button, green tick, and then the system summary menu is here. If we click it, what you can see on the system summary menu, so if you've got more than one zone, you'll see multiple zones listed down here, and you'll see all the zone demands. Okay, Evohome uses an aggregated demand percentage. Okay, so each of the zones will aggregate their demand, and the boiler control at the top, whether it be a relay box or open therm bridge, will have the actual demand percentage, which is then sent through to the relay or the open therm bridge, which then gives the modulation rate of the actual device that's controlling the boiler. Okay, so from this HR91 here is we've actually got 100% demand on this radiator controller, and that's because I set this radiator controller to 21 degrees Celsius, so it's gone to full demand because we're about 17.5, 18 degrees in the room, and that then is equated to 100% demand on the boiler control. If we want to zero the demand or take the demand off this radiator controller, what we have to do is go to the actual radiator controller and twist the locking cap like so. If we then take that radiator controller off, what we'll see on the Evohome controller after a short period of time is the zone demand percentage in that zone will go to 0. And that equates to then a 0 demand on the wireless relay box. Okay, because we've only got one zone demand percentage, so that zone demand percentage has now been equated to 0% on the wireless relay box as well. And this can be useful because if you've actually got a zone you haven't calibrated correctly, you could be having a zone percentage demand that isn't correct, that's overriding all your other zones. So it's really important that when we start calibrating the Evohome system initially, we do it as follows. You will have the valve base plate like that, but fitted into the bottom of the HR91 like so when you get it new. When you come to fit it onto the radiator valve, you don't twist the valve onto the radiator valve like that, because you won't be able to calibrate this properly. What you must do is take the radiator valve base plate out of the radiator valve controller, turn the black hand wheel fully anti-clockwise if it isn't already, fit it to the radiator valve, literally finger tight, you do not need to over tighten it. Okay, so literally finger tight. Make sure the black hand wheel is still fully anti-clockwise before refitting the HR91 head to it. And all you do is twist the valve, the locking cap, until it's the two indents line up like so. After a period of about, I don't know, about a minute, minute and a half, this will start recalibrating the valve position correctly, okay? Once it's calibrated the valve position correctly, what you'll see come up on the Evohome controller screen, you'll see your radiator controller come up here, and that will come up with a percentage. It might be 100%. So to test it, what you need to do is exit. If you look at the actual temperature in the room, if you click the screen and then set the set point temperature to the temperature that's displayed in the room, okay? So if you set 17.5 and the room temperature is 17.5 degrees, what you should see is either a very small percentage or 0%, okay, if you go back into the system summary menu. So what we'll do, this is just calibrating here now, so within, I don't know, 30 seconds or so, we should see a demand percentage come up on the screen if we go back into system summary. So if we press and hold the button again, go back in, click the system summary menu, and then hopefully within a few seconds or so, I can just hear that going down to the bottom, I think it is at the moment. So we will have to wait for this a minute, but fingers crossed you'll be able to see what I'm talking about in a second. This is just reopening, which takes about, I think it's about 15 seconds or so. So as soon as it gets to the top of the calibration cycle, it will then send its demand percentage through to the Evohome controller. Maybe I didn't give it, there you go. So what we've got is we've got 100% demand. So the Evohome controller has looked at the HR91, looked at the temperature range, and it's decided to put it at 100% demand, and that's equated to 100% demand on the wireless relay box. So your wireless relay box that would be fitted next to your boiler or your open therm bridge would receive this 100% demand. If it's a wireless relay box, what you would see is the green light on the wireless relay box turn on and your boiler fire, okay? So if we just exit this menu, so what we can see, we're set 17.5 degrees in the room, we're set to 17.5 degrees, and like I said, it's put 100% demand. If you have any further questions about the HR91, please either put some comments on the video below or send us an email to sales@theevohomeshop.co.uk. As always, thanks for watching.